Welcome back to the Warriors Den.
Hello.
If you are just joining us from the game, we've just taken the game down to do our maintenance to release.
To force everybody.
Yes, it's forced ratings. I hope you enjoyed the business funk in the intro. That someone joked about it in the stream, but indeed that was Pascal. We let Pascal run the stream this week, and that's all his fault. The artist's name was Dataset, it's an old musical thing. It's like a data and cassette. We thought it was fitting because of data, but also because it's just awesome. Because we're having fun today. Like I said, we're releasing the live update right now. We did the patch notes on last week's show. I posted the patch notes online. They should be up everywhere. Just go to forhonorgame.com/patch notes to see them. So that's going up now if you didn't get the message. But something else is happening in this maintenance that we wanted to share with you on the stream. So Damien, do you want to tell the folks?
Yeah, so tournaments. Little update on tournaments.
Little update.
Yeah, so we found a bug a few days before pushing it live, fixed it pretty quickly, then we found another one that we're still working on. The bug is the subject of the bug is linked to the routers of the tournaments. So we're still working on that. But the team went a bit crazy, and so we've decided to still push live the tournament. So just after that maintenance,
so the maintenance is happening.
Will go live.
Okay.
Dual, and basically we're activating it in a peer-to-peer. So without the routers. In the meantime, that we're fixing the routers, basically. Yep. So the only constraint linked to that is that NAT strict or red NAT players won't be able to join tournaments until we enable routers.
Okay. Woo! Jesus. This is very scary.
It's very scary.
Yikes. Wow. That was our...
almost killed us.
That was one of the guys responsible for the tournaments system.
He worked on tournaments.
He's very happy
years, so he's happy.
Finally have it out. So once the maintenance is finished, it should be up to 30 minutes. So during the show, the maintenance will finish, and you can start getting into the dual tournaments.
Oh yeah.
All platforms, by the way. It's not a
all
PC only
platforms.
thing.
And if you want to open your NAT, change your NAT. There is a post about that.
Yep, so if you go to whether it's Reddit or the forums, we're posting all the known issues for the tournament mode. It's not a lot, but the first one is the one that he mentioned, that Red Nat players just can't join for right now.
Yep.
It's not that they're going to join and ruin people's matches or anything like that, we were not letting them in. So you'll get an error that says unable to register. Yep. The very first known issue you'll see will link you to our FAQ that explains ways you can open your NAT if you have a Red NAT.
Yep.
So it's something we've worked on. We've seen over the course, I think, of since For Honor's been out, we've been seeing less and less Red Nats.
Yeah, it's a few percent.
It's a few percentage, and we're not happy that you can't join it. So like he said, we're going to introduce the routers as soon as we can. But in the meantime, we wanted everyone else, the large majority of our audience, to be able to get in and do the dual
and be ranked tournaments and show their skill.
Yes. So also to that same point, where you see the known issues. So for example, on Reddit, they should be sticking a thread soon, if not already. It'll have the issues, but I also want you to report any bugs you find with tournaments there, because this is tournaments beta. You'll see it's got a big beta on it, I think. So we want to know, actually rather quickly, if you find any any bugs you find, post them there, because the team wants to be able to react quickly on those and get it into our next patch.
Yeah.
I say next patch because we'll have a patch next week, but that one's shipped out the door. That one's not the one I'm talking about. So the patch after that. So anyway, that's all that. We're really psyched. So one other cool thing.
Our leaderboards.
Yes,
that's really cool.
One very cool thing. So a lot of you, I think, don't know about our game to web page. It's just fh.ub.com. fh.ubi.com. You can see your player stats. You can see faction war stuff, et cetera, et cetera. You can customize your emblem, but we've also added worldwide leaderboards from the ranking system. It's under the player stats section of fh.ub.com. Yeah. It'll show you your rank, but also the worldwide leaderboards. So that's super cool. similarly, with the whole bugs thing, if you see bugs with that, report those as well.
Yeah.
But excited about that. I hope you're excited to start getting into the dual tournaments. I know that everyone was waiting for them, and we were waiting for them, and we got them out in August. Just under the wire. It's still August.
Still August, yeah. Yeah.
So yes, very exciting. So that's the maintenance happening right now. So none of us will be mad if you leave the stream after you see that the maintenance is finished. We understand. But we got a few more things to talk about.
Yeah.
Another thing going on right now, or once the maintenance is finished, is
First time we do that.
a promotion we're doing on champion status.
Yeah.
Champion status is 50% off across the board. If you want to put the image up, maximum. Yes, well done.
Look at that.
So from the 31st to the 7th, full week, 50% off champion status. And if you haven't looked at it, you have the option to buy 3 days, 7 days, a month, 3 months, 6 months, even a year. So this is a really good time to do that if you're interested. I know
playing the new heroes, for example.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know the jokes that might be happening already. Yes, that we use champion status for compensation sometimes. So people often joke, oh, I get it for free anyway. We haven't done it in quite a while, actually. So get in on the sale now if you want it. It's a good booster for your XP. It gives you extra loot, all that sort of stuff. Cool. Another thing I want everyone here watching to be aware of, which is happening this weekend, the For Honor subreddit, r/For Honor, is running a Season 3 Dominion tournament, 4v4 tournament, and that's on all platforms. Xbox One is the 1st, September 1st at 1 p.m. PC is September 2nd at 11 a.m. And PS4 is September 3rd, 11 a.m. That's all in Pacific time. So all platforms, that's this weekend. It's 4v4. There's actually a bunch of teams that have signed up already, which I'm psyched about. But we want to see even more. So please go to battlefy.com/4. Oh, yeah, right there. Thank you. 4-honor. Sign up. It's free. It's fun. We on the dev side will be super interested to see how it goes, what the feedback is from you guys doing a competitive 4v4. They did one 2 weeks ago, last week. My brain is fried. They did a PC only one, and I got some good feedback from that. So we want to see across all platforms how it goes. So enjoy, good luck, and let us know. Cool. Another reminder, the last reminder you'll have for this on the show, we are doing a PAX panel. Everyone that you'll see on the show today is on a PAX panel on Monday.
On Monday, yeah.
Monday the 4th. That PAX panel is at 2:30 p.m. Pacific. It's in the Hydra Theater. If you're attending PAX, we really, really want you to go. We want to see you and meet you and hang out with you.
Oh, yeah.
If you're not going, it's on twitch.tv/PAX2. Or we'll also host it here on this channel, but you won't get a notification because hosting doesn't notify you. But anyway, that's going to be really cool. It's going to be fun. We have a lot of fun stuff planned. So don't miss it. Maybe some surprises as well. So check that out. Again, that's on Monday. And just so you know, we're doing our next community workshop next week.
Yeah.
So as soon as we get back from PAX, we're going straight into a 3-day workshop with a bunch of community members. We do this every season. If you don't know, we bring top competitive players in, and they help us check out the balance on upcoming heroes for new seasons. So they'll check out some Season 4 heroes. Jealous, I know. They'll probably also be checking out other things like future work on the defensive meta changes and stuff like that. So that's happening. So because that's happening when we come back, we're not going to do a full brand new show next week on the 7th. We will
on top of the
exactly. So I'll be there. I'll introduce. I'll give whatever news that might be out next Thursday. But then we'll re-roll the PAX panel show in case you miss it on Monday, because you're maybe not watching Twitch on Mondays. So that is that. We really want to see you there at PAX. So please reach out to me or to Damien, whether it's on Reddit or Twitter. Let us know if you'll be there because we want to see you.
Yeah.
Cool. New content of the week is Smoke Effect is now for all heroes.
Oh, yeah.
We had it available for the new heroes at Season 3 launch. It's
for the Season Pass owners.
Exactly, for Season Pass holders. It's more of a cinder. I still disagree that calling it smoke. It's not smoke, it's more cindery. I would have preferred that word. But anyway, it's now available for all heroes. It is 5,000 steel each. I know that we got questions. Why don't season pass holders get it for all heroes? And I'm going to give that question to Damien.
Yeah, so one of the things we put in the season pass description is that we want to give some surprises on top of the heroes and the day one pack you get and the 30 days of champion status and all. And so at each season we try to find what we can give. We gave some elite outfits on the first heroes, for example, on the season 2. On season 3 we wanted to still do that, but we said, hey, what could we do else? And we saw that smoke effects, and we said, hey, let's use that to celebrate the new heroes. So that's why we're given only on the new heroes for the season pass owners. It's like an exclusivity you get for a few weeks.
For those heroes.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's roll that video, and when we come back, we'll be joined by Biojad to give you an update on the faction war. Welcome back, Biojade.
Bio was fine.
Bio was fine, great. So we are now in season 3. We have completed round 1 of the new faction war season.
Yep, and it was a victory for the Knights.
Oh, the Knights.
Yes, and we had actually a player that did some amazing cover art for the victory of the Knights of this new season, of this new round.
Let's put that up there, yep.
It's pretty great, it's pretty great.
The volcano awakens.
We see people really like the volcano. I'm going to come back on that later.
Okay.
But it's very funny. So yeah, the Knights won. It was, they cut back. They were down to 25 territories before the last round, the last few turns, and then they came back to 35, which is great. The Viking could have won because they were neck to neck of the turn before, but they concentrated on nailing down the samurais that were down to 18. Instead of fighting the Knights.
Feud. They have that feud with the samurais.
They do. They really always are in samurai territory and leave the Knights alone. So the Knights used that and they caught up to the Vikings and they took the victory for the first round, which is a big deal because we see last season that momentum is not to be underestimated.
The Knights need this one. I think they need this one to...
I'm kind of torn because if they win, people will say that it's rigged.
That's true.
So I like you, Knights.
We want
but
you to lose,
not
Knights.
Win because
I'm sure whatever the outcome is, there will be a way to justify an argument that we've rigged it.
And I'm gonna be so happy to read all about that. It's gonna be
like
amazing.
chemtrails. You know about chemtrails? We'll save that for another stream.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
It's another crazy conspiracy theory thing.
All right. Well, I'm Canadian. I don't care about those.
Right?
So for I have a few things for you because we had the free weekend, like you know.
We did.
And the people coming from the free weekend have a big impact on how the faction are balanced now. And they were like mostly samurais, the people coming from the free weekend, and Knights.
Okay.
So I have a little image like last season about what's the state of the 3 factions right now. So you can see that the samurai has the most players.
This is the current state?
This is the current state of the factions right now. Well, it's actually last week.
Okay.
However, this is last week numbers, and there's still some effect of the free weekend on those numbers. And I checked out the players that played yesterday, and we were more about 36, 36, 28. So it's not as big.
Yeah, and then probably today a bunch will go to the Knights, right? Because they've won. Is that a trend we see every round?
Well, if people change factions right now, they will not have their season rewards.
Right. Don't do that.
The grace period is over. It's off-season and the first round. So don't do it. Yeah. You will lose the next season rewards. And we reviewed them this week, and they're going to be pretty cool. Cooler than last season.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And we're not ready to talk about it yet, but this week, actually, Bio and Damien as well shared with me some very cool info of work they're doing on Faction War for the future, and it's exciting. It's a common topic of here's some interesting, like the community's always suggesting cool ways to make it more engaging, more interesting, and it's cool to see that the team is also working on that already. So it's cool stuff.
Yeah, well, like for example, the War Banner that we just released had a big impact. We can see that the amount of manual deployment, if you consider the War Banner as a manual deployment, went out 15%.
It went up 15%?
Yeah,
wow.
up 15%.
Okay.
So it's great. The Knights are the one that use the War Banner the most.
Cool.
Viking are still the one that deploys manually the most, and Samurai, well, they don't. So this is life.
They're just basking in their victory from the last season.
Probably. They still feel, well, if they do that, they'll see that it's a bad idea. The Vikings did it last season, and we lost terribly.
Did not
so
work out well for
don't
us.
Samurais. It's a bad idea. Well, actually, do that. And yeah, so the War Banner has a very big impact, and we see that the Knights, when I look at the data, have put the War Banner on a specific territory more than any other territories, which is the volcano.
Amazing.
And the volcano has, for some reason, a followship. People follow the volcano and like it. And if I want to give you an update, last turn, the Samurai took it back, but right now it's in Knight's hands. So
I like that.
the volcano is back into the Knight's fold.
It's like a prize. It's a prize that they're fighting over.
It's a very specific territory.
the
It's
war for
very
the volcano.
special. It's really special.
I like that. That sort of gives season 3 its own theme.
Yeah, that team is a volcano. Yeah,
like that.
sure. Sadly for the Vikings, it's deep into Knight territories, closer to the Samurai front, so it's kind of hard to get it. But if we can get it, we can be extremely proud of ourselves.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Did you have any other stats you wanted to share?
Not about the faction war, just one thing. I saw a few questions about a detail about XP, which is also from our team. We saw a few people asking why the XP is not the same per game mode.
Yeah.
And the answer is kind of simple. It's actually the same per hours played. So since all game mode is not the same time, what we've done, we took the time it takes to make a game, including matchmaking and menu time to get there. And we did an average, and this is how the XP is distributed. We look at that number fairly often to make sure that it's still balanced with the current state of the game and the meta and what's going on right now. And this is how we actually divided the XP and all the rewards, actually, loot also, everything. It's divided by hours played and not per matches, so that people that prefer playing Dominion will have per hour the same amount of rewards than the people that prefer playing duels or brawls.
Okay. Excellent.
That's it for me.
Thank you for always. You will be joining us on the PAX panel on Monday,
Yes,
so
yes.
you'll be seeing her soon. So thank you, Bia. We're going to be
Thank you.
back with Roman and Damien to answer some of your questions.
Non. Je te volerai le tien.
Before we get into the Q&A, I saw someone was asking again, what's the PAX Twitch channel that we'll be on? It's twitch.tv/PAX2. They have 3 different channels. We're on number 2. That's for our panel on Monday at 2:30.
Hydra.
Pacific. And in the Hydra
That's
Theater.
so cool.
Yeah, all their theater names are different animals. Or
Hydra is a
mythical,
cool animal.
mythical animals.
Or bad guys.
Cool. Also, hey, for once, let's be nice to Pascal. He's very sick. He's still here for some dumb reason. But he's like coughing, his snot is running on the keyboard over there. So send a get well to Pascal. Maybe we'll turn this ship around for him. Because he actually will be at the panel. He's not going to be on the panel, but he'll be there. So you might get a chance to meet the mythical Hydra himself, Pascal. Anyway, you want to hear these guys talking, not me. So we've got some questions. We've taken them from the often ignored competitive subreddit. At least that's what I read on the competitive subreddit, that they're ignored. So let's get into these questions. There are actually a bunch the last couple weeks about TimeSnap. So, Roman, I thought we could start by addressing TimeSnap because that's another thing they're accusing me of ignoring. I'm tired of being accused of ignoring you because it's literally my job to read all your garbage comments. So let's get into it.
I saw you gave a nice answer.
I gave a nice answer. I gave a nice long answer because I'm fed up. But let's get into it.
So, TimeSnap, cool. So I saw that there's a lot of people that have a lot of data on TimeSnap, actually. That pretend that is the real data or whatever, I don't care. The problem is, so we remove TimeSnap for a lot of reasons that are good reasons, and there is still stuff to improve. And so to discuss that in more detail, not in the next while then, but in a while then soon, we will have some guys from the team that will expose to you what TimeSnap was actually doing, because there's a lot of assumption of what it was doing that are not true. What TimeSnap was actually doing by removing TimeSnap, what is the actual behavior today in game, and what are the elements that we need to improve to have a good system, mainly to add some buffer to compensate, more buffer to compensate for the lag.
Okay.
So there will be in-depth explanation of that with video from the tool and the engine, and that will be it.
Cool. So you will get an explanation when they have time, when they're not working on our characters and working on balance, working on bugs, to put a video together for you so you can see what the real difference is. Cool.
With the actual clips, animation clips coming from the game,
Right.
etc.
Right. Okay. So I have a question here from Karjara. Are you considering reworking the kits of old characters? Tweaking the numbers might balance the heroes, but it won't change the fact that characters like Conqueror and Orochi are extremely one-dimensional.
Yes, we are doing that at the moment.
There
we
you
don't
go.
have dates for when that's going to ship. But remember when we said we are working on Conqueror, we're working on Orochi, etc., and you are going like, hey, what the fuck is it? The Orochi or the Conqueror? Okay. So yes, reworking the kit take more time, and like that question was asking, it's true. It's not just about numbers and adjusting
Right.
some properties and some timing. That's why we haven't yet released improvements or modifications on those characters. We need to reshoot animation, that kind of stuff. So that is coming, but it's going to take some time, especially since currently that team is hard at work, not only on DLC characters, but also on improvements on the fight system, on the overall fight system.
Yep.
And we want to finish that before going full force into a new balancing and or more reworks of characters, because we are adjusting stuff.
Cool. Cool. Ad mortem. Okay, I get your name now. Ad mortem Edadicus. I feel like they created this name just to make me read it online. Is the lack of
They
character?
would never do that.
You sort of just said this. Is the lack of character buffs, nerfs, fixes because you're waiting on finishing up the defensive meta patch? Because it's going to drastically change things up a lot.
So it's a mix.
Yeah.
It's a mix. There is a lot of different priority at the moment in the team, and one of the reasons is, yes, since we are adjusting the fight system, we don't want to make changes and change again just after, etc.
Cool. Okay.
But also we're still doing quite a lot of stuff, so
Yeah.
there's still every patch new balancing and new modification. It's just slightly less.
Yep. Okay. This is from Shields Dan's game. Are assassins and sometimes non-assassins supposed to be able to parry Highlander's unblockable follow-up after a Fomorian kick / caber toss? It's a very specific question.
Yeah, no, it's not normal. So that's an issue at which we look recently. The fact that some assassins were able to parry sooner than non-assassins in certain circumstances, and it's due to the reflex guard property of the assassins and the way it was set up in the graph. We want to make that consistent for all characters in the future patch, so that's going to be fixed.
Cool. This one I think Damien gets to answer. Asian Ken asks, so I have connectivity issues, but I still love the game. I often play AI-only multiplayer. The level 2 bots get very stale and are usually not very good. I know we can set bot level in custom games, but those don't give XP. Is there any way you can let us set the AI bot levels for multiplayer?
Yeah, that's a good question. So basically, the AI bot level is based around your MMR, so your skill level, but it's your skill level in PvP. So if you play only PvAI, you don't have a skill level of PvP, or you have a bad skill level in PvP, so you will face bad bots in PvAI. It's an issue we know that we want to fix at one point. So to allow players that play a lot of PvAI to get to rank 3 bots, but it's something we haven't done yet.
Okay.
So that's why he's facing level 2 bots. If he plays a bit more PvP and has a good MMR, then he will be able to face level 3 bots while gaining XP and all. Okay,
that makes sense. Cool. There's another one for Damian. Biohazard Rex. Why is ranked duel going to be in tournament mode? Isn't the classic search for one opponent with the same skill rating to get plus or minus points better? I think it makes the duel ranked unnecessarily long, and a lot of people are going to turn away from this because the time they have to commit per tournament.
So we wanted to do things a bit differently. So we wanted to, thanks to the tournament scheme or architecture, you have a mini event, you have exclusive rewards, and it's pretty cool. You're facing different opponents, you have pool matches, then single elimination. So it's a mini event in itself. So we think we add a lot to the ranking experience, but we know waiting time was one of the biggest constraints of the mod in public test, something we worked on. We think it's better now. We had also some issues in public test that make you wait because the guy left or their match was much longer or things like that. So it's in a better state now. You will be able to try it very soon anyway. But give us feedback about that. Still something we're working on. But in the end, that's how we see it for the moment.
And while we're doing Damien questions, there's one that we've got in the chat.
Yeah.
From Eric Lee 93. Can we have in-game chat back? At least make it standard all. I have my opinion about this, but I'll let you go.
Yeah, so you can change in the options and put all by default if you want. So no issue about that. It's something you can change in the option, and then it will be exactly as before the update for you. But we changed the default to lower a bit the level of the toxicity in the chat. At least if you haven't asked for it, you won't get it in your face, basically.
Which I personally have seen a lot of good reactions to.
Yeah, so far I think the results are pretty positive. I think it's also cool for newcomers or new players that are not used to the game yet to not have that layer of the game yet.
Right.
Yeah, just change it in the option to all if it's what you want.
Cool. So it's really a toxicity measure, which is something we talked about a few weeks ago. That's one of the, when you're not talking about balance or connectivity, that's one of the top priorities of the team, is to rein in toxicity. We're trying. I'm trying. We just got notification from our network team. They're extending the maintenance by 15 minutes, and I do promise you that's not to make you watch us. They just gave us this message because we're actually almost done.
Are they going to give champion status for that?
No, we're not giving champion status for your 15 minutes.
Maintenance.
Okay. Last week on the show, Reminiscence asked a question that we didn't know the answer to. He said, when are you going to give me the Orochi armor with chainmail? So he then sent me pictures. It's all the very, very old stuff when
All the
when the
artworks.
Orochi was the Oni. So like
Yeah,
2015.
so I can answer
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
if you want.
Take it.
That was the old visual of the Orochi. That was during pre-production. The first model we created for the Orochi was a little bit heavier with more armor, etc. Same thing if you look at the Warden, it's also slightly different. Unfortunately, that model, even if it's still somewhere on the computers of the guy, it's not working with the actual constraints of the character, customization-wise, paint-wise, colors, etc. So
there's no
for the
plans
moment,
to.
it's not in the plan to add that back in the game.
Sorry to break your heart, Reminiscence, but there's your
Yeah,
answer.
it was cool. I liked it also.
Yeah.
Cool character design. Maybe someday. Cool. And next question we have. Oh, yes. Everyone will put their knives away and they won't kill me this week because we'll finally address this. Roman, DTS Knight, and about 1 million other people keep asking me about the Centurion. Do we really need data to make substantial changes to Centurion given that the community by and large dislikes him? Even if he's not winning all the titles, there's near consensus that he brings the game down. Am I the only one who sometimes resorts to button mashing when facing him? It's not enjoyable. Take it away.
So yes, clearly we're not addressing the Centurion because it's my favorite character.
I saw a meme. I saw a couple memes that
For the
told me
moment,
this.
I like him like that. And as a proof, in a lot of patches, including the one last time, we did not touch him. We did not continually balance him. We did not continually fix issues and bugs on the Centurion. So clearly, no.
This is French sarcasm.
The real thing, no, that's no. The real thing, the important point is we are looking at it. We are improving the way it is to play against the Centurion. We are fixing issues with the Centurion. We are balancing it. Pure win-loss ratio-wise, we think he's pretty good at the moment. It's not at all the best character in 4v4. It's not at all the best character in duel. Whatever skill rank we look at
Right.
in terms of win-loss metrics is not in the top. What is interesting also, it's because it's the flavor of the month. There's a lot of players that plays it and that dies a lot with him and lose a lot of matches with him because even if he's really strong and he has some really strong combos, it's not that easy to pull out. Even if you're going to say, that's not true, blah, 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 I can tell you it's not that easy. You guys die a lot with it.
Centurions die a lot.
What is an issue for sure with the Centurion is that it's too frustrating to play against him.
Especially in 4v4.
And that's really an issue with the character. And it's something that we're currently working on and that we will update. So we are not going to wait to reshoot animation, etc. We're working on that, and in the coming patches, there should be improvements on facing a Centurion. The problematic is we don't want to break his playstyle because I think that his playstyle is interesting. And we don't want to nerf him too much because, as I say, in terms of win-loss, he's not that strong. So, and we are a little bit careful because we don't want to break the character.
Right. And I know, and in this, the person asking the question kind of says the same thing. Like, I think the higher skilled, more knowledgeable players also realize that it's not that he's OP, it's that, yes, he can be really
strong.
annoying to play against.
He's definitely in the top tier of our character. But when you look at all the skill levels, as I was saying, even if you look at people that have really low, that are new to the game, that don't have that much playtime, same thing. He's not OP in there. They tend to die a lot with him, etc. The issue is the multiplicity of stun, the multiplicity of crowd control, and the duration of those crowd control, that is a frustrating issue because it removes you the control for that long of your character. So those are the things we are looking at, how we can accelerate those things, how can we remove some stun effects or those kind of things, but without nerfing him too much, and by keeping his playstyle that is based, yes, on crowd control. Like, yeah, he has some pretty good damage output if it doesn't get interrupted by one of your friends and this kind of stuff. Whereas with the Warden, where he guard break you, throw you in the wall, goes directly to a top heavy, and deals a shit ton of damage, and it's much harder to be interrupted in the 4v4 situation, as an example. So that's the kind of thing that we must be careful. That's why we are careful with the Centurion. We just want to erase the character from the roster and go like, oh yeah, to the ground, and no, it's just not useful at all. No. We want to keep him cool character. We want to keep his playstyle. We want to keep him effective, and I wish all the character were as effective as the Centurion.
Right.
It's just that currently, yes, it's a little bit too frustrating to fight against. And that's going to move soon.
Okay, there you go. I'm sure that settled everyone's complaints. But hey, we're talking about it. That's all I ask. All I ask, if you're watching the show, you're on Reddit, just help me combat the thing where everyone is saying, oh, they just ignore the topic. No one says anything about Centurion.
That's not true. We don't ignore it. We constantly have been patching it.
Right.
Since
that's all I ask. Just help me. Just say, hey, they talked about this on the Warriors Den here, 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 and here. Hey, they did this in the patch notes here. They did it in here, here, here. Yes, it's not where it should be completely, but it's not that we're not doing anything about the Centurion. So that's all I ask you, the community. Help me fight that battle. I understand it's very frustrating for you, but I need help because when it's people saying this is a completely ignored character, Ubisoft hates their fans, it kills me because you don't see on this side the guys busting their ass, working a lot of extra hours on working on this game. So when you say
what
stuff
is
like that,
interesting on that side also, it's a little bit like we had with Revenge. Like, remember a couple of months ago, people bitching about Revenge, Revenge is too strong. Then we nerfed Revenge, and instantly we had brand new type of people popping out and going like, what the fuck did you do with Revenge, blah, 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 blah. And now we've managed to balance both, and so far, at least from what I'm reading and what I'm hearing, in 4v4, except for Fits, because Revenge had too much of an impact on Fits, but in 4v4, Revenge is in a pretty good spot. Right. My issue with the Centurion is a little bit the same. If I nerf him to the ground, I can tell you, it's going to be the same type of fire, but with brand new people and go like, what the fuck did you do to my Centurion? And I also don't want that. So I want slowly to bring him on par, and I want to fix the frustration issues of facing the guy. Yes, definitely.
Cool. Okay, I think we have a couple left.
Highlander.
No. Okay, this is the last one. Mad Mike 89, unless we have other ones up here.
First one?
Yeah, Darkon Who asks, any news on the region blocks for South Africa or the region? So we talked, I think, last week that, or maybe the week before, that we're going to start looking at that. So South Africa.
So we.
You have this one also after.
Okay,
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Back to South Africa. Yes, it's something. In fact, something we worked on past days and weeks. We have a solution. Now it's just a matter of when we deploy it. For them. So I don't have an ETA, but it's
one of the many things
it will
that
be coming soon-ish.
One of the many things Team Onion is doing, right?
It's not Team Onion.
No, this is not
Team
an Onion thing.
It's their buddies.
Oh, well, there you go. I was going to give a shout out to Team Onion. I'm going to give it anyway because those guys are awesome. They're the guys working on dedicated servers.
It's their best friends.
We love them. Okay, Roman, you wanted to do this next one?
Yep.
It was just such a long question, I didn't want to read it. Disco Stew 83.
I love you when you ask these questions,
Yes.
these long questions.
A Highlander question no one talks about. Does he really need to have a slight pause when going into offensive stance? Your opponent hears, Don McGlass, as a warning, and then has an extra moment to react because Highlander does an odd hand motion with the hilt, one that he doesn't need to do when you see how his hands are placed during the offensive stance attacks. That delay is totally unnecessary when people already have delays from frames or internet connection. Now go.
So the question basically that is asked is, can we reduce the entry into offensive form so we can start attacking sooner?
Right.
Basically.
I guess I could have.
That point is interesting
rephrased.
because it's the perfect example of why this type of balancing is difficult. And the answer is no, we don't want to do that. And why? Because when you're coming from a chain, we want to be able to branch into defensive form, heavy finisher, or offensive form depending on your input. So part of this is to be able to blend into either animation nicely. So we have that realization element to take into account. But also, we do want to warn the opponent that the offensive form is coming. So they are warned to watch out for an unblockable attack. And that is not necessarily such a big deal in duel. That is definitely a big issue in a group fight scenario where you have not necessarily the full span of your intention on the Highlander. So conceptually, we have the Highlander entering the iconic offensive form pose and getting the pink flash between attack to signify to both players that the Highlander is going into that offensive form. So that's why we're keeping that, and that's why we don't want to make that transition too fast, because we want you to be able to notice that thing. It's the things that if we find and we hear, because so far it's some feedback, but if there is an argument to be made that we need to buff him into that area, I would prefer something like lowering the cost, from taking a look at the cost of the stamina when he's into offensive form. Because for me, the goal is, okay, so you get to offensive form, you can send some quick light attack from offensive form to disrupt the guy before going with your heavy finisher and this kind of stuff. And maybe that is costing too much stamina or those kind of things. I prefer to buff differently the offensive form than making it an instant like that, and bam, unblockable coming in afterward, and where the fuck did that came from? The readability of those moves is really important because it's really fast to have access to that type of attack, and the attacks coming out of them are really, really fast.
Cool.
And then Gimli Bones at For Honor Game, why do you hate Conqueror? We don't hate Conqueror. It's part of this character where I was saying improving him.
Right.
It's not just tweaking some data and adding some branches or mix-up. It actually needs some deeper reworks in terms of animation, moves, and chains. Mm-hmm. And it's currently under work.
Yeah, it's one of the ones that the team is
going to take a bit more time.
It's working on right now.
We're definitely looking at the Conqueror.
And to that same point,
we love Conqueror.
To that same point, I was going to save it for later, but on the competitive Reddit, Conkbonk is the user. He wrote an awesome post of how you could rework the Conqueror, which I sent around to the team, and they found very interesting. So we don't hate any of our characters.
We love
the
all
game
of them.
that this team made with their blood, sweat,
Except
and
the
tears.
Kensei.
Kensei's also on that list that's being worked on right now. So
I'm happy.
Just don't go wild with the memes on that one. Cool. Question from Death Aflame, Damien. To get the tournament rewards, do you have to come first in the tournament or just participate like the rewards themselves state? Please answer.
So you have to play the tournament, you have to stay in the tournament until it finishes to get the exclusive rewards from the tournament.
Okay.
So I don't know if
but
it
you don't have to
answers the
win.
question. You don't have to win. It depends.
You have to win to get the best.
Exactly. so depending how far you go in the tournament, you will get better rewards. Right. But then you're redoing it each time you do a tournament anyway.
Right. Okay, good. And maintenance is now over. You can now play tournaments.
Woohoo!
So enjoy that. The show's almost over. We're gonna go into Community Corner too. So don't feel bad if you leave. I won't feel bad if you leave. So there was one last thing. Someone was asking, Mad Mike 89 said, you had a nice roadmap of changes past and for the future. Any plans to give us a more detailed roadmap of changes happening during Season 3? And then he says something about relentless waves of Steel Store updates. So it doesn't seem like such a big ask. That's a thing I see a lot. Well, they update the Steel Store, so they keep the game updated. Anyway, there's a thing that we're working on right now with the designers from different teams across For Honor of what they are working on, what is coming. I don't have that to share right now, but that's how I know that the Kensei is being worked on, because they told me, because I asked. So that's the thing we're working on, to give you more visibility into what all these different sub-teams among For Honor are working on. So when I can get that done, I don't have an answer for you, because I'm going to PAX in a couple days, but that's a thing. So I know that that's something Roman wants, it's what Damien wants. We all want to share some more visibility with you.
Yeah.
So that's that. Cool. I think that's it for questions. Pascal hasn't shared anymore. So we're going to go into the community corner now, which apparently we have an intro video for. There will be no GIFs in this. There are GIFs, no GIFs. In fact, the very first one is from Meme Attack. It is a GIF. Positioning matters, even in celebration. Let's GIF it up, yes. As I think you can already see what's going to happen based on where they are on the map. They're celebrating. Berserker clearly didn't know it was going to happen, and this guy is just like, oh, damn it. Cool, cool.
Sounds cool.
Cujo the Great on Reddit has this is a cool video. It's a couple minutes long. Never give up, never surrender. Moveset. That got me so hyped.
Yeah.
That was a fucking good one.
Yeah.
Cujo the Great,
very cool
good
video.
high landing, well done. Okay, we've got another GIF from Isomov on Reddit. 10,000% calculated. This is, oh yeah. Well, let's play this a couple times, because this is also really enjoyable just to watch. Dodge, push.
Ooh, nice.
Does that count as a bamboozle? Let's see.
A nice one.
Yep, I'm going to call
yeah.
that a bamboozle. And in the same theme, another GIF, Perido's #1 fan, 100% calculation.
Same title.
Yeah.
Almost.
Oh, this is also pretty hilarious.
What?
What happened?
They were killed by a ballista.
Ballista, yeah.
A single shot
Ah.
ballista. Ballista Roman may be a little OP.
Look at that.
That's
yes,
fucking nice.
nice.
That's a nice shot.
Peridot's #1 fan. Well done. Okay, we've got another video here. This is from Flukerson the Optimist. Flukerson's a really good dude and does good stuff. This is called For Honor Garbage Gladiator.
Eeny, meeny, miny, you.
Why is everyone stabbing me in the back?
'Cause it's easy. And it does a lot of damage.
Team killer! Pow! Ha ha!
That one speaks to me because I am also garbage. So well done, Flukerson. Very funny. And then our last video, this is from Ultach on Reddit. Warlord teaches Shinobi about downward momentum.
Victory!
I don't know if you want to play that again, Max, just because in case you didn't catch what exactly happened. I like that the Warlord is stopping to like say something after the Shinobi runs away. So just play it again if you can.
Victory!
I love it. I love it. Actually, speaking of that, that was so Ultach on Reddit. Also, wanted to give a shout out to him because he did a post where he recorded a number of lines for the Highlander in like old Scottish, because our Highlander speaks Icelandic, because that's what our Vikings speak. So he did a whole post with old Scottish, and he did the recordings himself, which are awesome. I sent them to the sound team, and they said, if he's a union actor, we'll talk. Sure.
And what is the version of Don My Class in Scottish?
I don't know. I don't know it all off the top of my head, but go check it out. It's super good. I also want to give a shout out to Silent Kiln on Reddit. He does these 4 health posts. I think this was his 3rd one. It just went up yesterday. It's really good. I also gave Conkbonk a shout out already about the Conqueror rework post. And we wanted to give a shout out to the crew who made Absolver. Absolver's out this week.
Yeah, big shout out to these guys.
They're Montreal
good
dudes.
Good friends of us from Paris.
Oh, Paris, sorry.
They did an amazing job on that game. So if you have a little bit of spare time after playing For Honor,
Go and play Absolver.
go watch the game.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
It's cool to see more
Some
melee
really cool fight mechanics.
combat
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
Cool, and that is it for the show. I didn't get a chance to talk to Fred before because last week our raffle thing was broken. I don't know if it's still broken, but
Do we give champion status when the raffle is broken?
yeah, we can give champion status. So go ahead and say raffle anyway. If it's broken, I'm sorry. If it's not, then you'll maybe win. So we'll see you on Monday on the PAX Warriors Den and go play tournaments right now
Yeah.
and have fun.
Send us feedback.
Yes, feedback on the forums or Reddit, please, ASAP. We want to hear. Raffle works.
Waffle works.
Great.
See you guys.
All right, see you next time.
See you.